Hi everyone, I am Karleen Vaughn, your KSU iTeach coach, and I was asked by Ms. McGee to create a tutorial to show you how to navigate the new OneNote staff notebook. So I'm just going to start here by showing you my website. This is a website that I maintain with lots of resources for everyone to look at and a guide to using OneNote that's located right here. If you'd like to be able to meet me or make an appointment, you can navigate that right here as well. So, moving on to the staff notebook. You can see here that I actually already have Office 365 bookmarked on my bookmarks bar, so I'm just going to click that. But you can also see, if you don't have it bookmarked, there's the website, login.microsoftonline.com. So I'm just going to click that, and it's going to bring me to my login screen. Now, I've actually already been here before, obviously, so it has my information already pulled up. So I'm going to click here and then sign in. It has me signed in, so I'm just going to press that one more time. Okay, so now you're on what would basically be your desktop or your apps bar. So the first thing you want to do is go to OneNote, and when you click OneNote, you will see it eventually load, and it should ask you what notebook you want to work with. Okay, so when I did that, it brought up all my notebooks, and as you can see, I have quite a few of them. But the one we want to talk about is the Woodland Staff Notebook, and you can tell who the owner is by looking to the right. This is owned by Ms. McGee. So I'm just going to open that. And now I'm looking at the welcome screen to the OneNote Staff Notebook. Over here on the left, you can see the different sections of the notebook. And what I want you to keep in mind, if you're not aware already, is that a OneNote notebook is basically a digital binder. And so Ms. McGee's notebook is set up like a giant teacher notebook, and then all of the staff have their own little mini notebooks contained within the big notebook. So in here, you have your welcome section, and she's included lots of different little helpful tools, and OneNote has actually put some tools on here as well. Sway in Education, Office Mix, and then these are some things that Ms. McGee has added just in case you need to reference those. You have three other sections. Now you have the collaboration space, which is a space that everyone has access to. And within here, she's got several different sections listed. So there's New Teacher, Design Thinking, PBIS, STEM, Technology, RTI, SST. This appears to be the committees, or excuse me, the teams that she set up. I'm sorry, it's right here. After that, there's PD Choice, and you can see there's no pages in that section right now. And then there's Sign-ups, Book Reading with Ms. McGee. So some of you may have already seen that page. Now, that's the collaboration space. These are spaces that you all have access to edit the information on the page. And so an important thing to mention to you on that is that in this collaboration space, that means you can change things. So you need to be really careful when you're working in the collaboration space to not accidentally delete something or alter the formatting while you're in there. Okay, I'm just going to minimize that, and now look at the content library. So when you look at the content library, there are several different sections here. There's a Need to Know, PLC, Curriculum, RTI, and Field Trips. And every one of those sections has several pages in it. So in the Need to Know section, I start with the staff list, and you can see that there's a file printout here, and you can see the staff listing. And then you can see a copy of the school map. So if you don't have one or yours got messed up, there's another one. There's also all the schedules that you could possibly need. And right here is just a link, and it goes to a OneDrive folder that includes all of those schedules for download. So don't worry about it. If you want to click here, click links to go out, just click them. It'll open up a new tab here. And there's lots of spreadsheets here with the different schedules for you to look at. Now, I'm just going to click back to my left tab again, and I can see more stuff available in this section. Assessments, transportation, you all can read all of those. Okay? Now, the next section in Content Library is PLCs. And so there's an insert date of meeting here. So this is the agenda and minutes will go here. This is not something that you need to worry about right this minute. Then there's curriculum. And so here's all the sections for curriculum. And again, each one of these right here is a page. Each one of these are a different page in the notebook. So, RTI, all the different grade levels, and then field trips. These are the field trips for the Teaching Museum so far. So if you want to know already, you can find out when you're supposed to go to that. It's in February and October. Down here, my name. So on yours, you'll obviously see your name, and this is your section of the notebook. So you have full control over this section of your notebook. This is where you would see assignments that have been distributed to you. So you can see here, when I scroll down, you know what, I want to be able to move that over a little bit so I can see better. So I'm just going to hover over till those little bars appear, and then slide it. Okay, so I have professional development, student data, lesson plans, parent communication, and PLCs. And right now all of that's a blank. That's because I haven't put anything in there. So right here you need to think of this like the tabs in your kids' binder. Like you might have a homework tab and a handouts and worksheets and notes tabs and stuff like that. So these are your tabs. So for your professional development, you might need to put your digital citizenship certificate in there for documentation. Any sort of parent communications, you might want to just upload those. Okay? And for example, in these things, because often you'll be putting in attachments, in order to do that, what you're going to do is just make a title here. So I'm going to say digital citizenship. Okay? And then I'm going to hit insert. And I'm going to choose a file. So first I want to show you, there's two different ways that you can add files. You can do an attachment, which is just going to give you a little download link, or you can do a file printout. So I'm going to show you that first. I'm just going to click on it and choose my file. And I'm not sure what I have that I can drop in here. So it says I can put a PDF in there, so I'm going to choose this digital content providers. And again, this is not a digital citizenship certificate, but meant to show you how to do it. So I'm just going to choose my PDF or Word document and hit insert. And you'll see, because I chose the file printout option, I actually get the little download icon as well as a picture of what the actual file is. And if you're going to insert documents into something and want to be able to look at it without having to download the document every time you want to view it, file printout is the way you want to do that. Okay, so these are all the different sections of your staff notebook. Again, you have the collaboration space. This is a space that everyone has access to and everybody can edit. So you need to be very careful when you work in that area. Now we also have the content library. These are the things that Ms. McGee would like you to have access to, but not to be able to change. Okay. And then I'm going to minimize that. And now back to my section. And these are the different sections I have personal access to, and I can do whatever I want within those sections or whatever you've been directed to do. So the other thing I want to tell you is that when you're working in OneNote, you can work in the cloud, or you can work on your desktop version. And OneNote actually will sync back and forth, so you don't have to remember to hit save or anything like that. So if you want to do that and work in the desktop version, it looks a little bit different, and it's somewhat easier to navigate, so I'm just going to show you that. At the top of your screen, you should have this Open in OneNote button. So just going to click that. Remember my choice, Open in OneNote. Okay, and it should come up. Very good. I'm just going to ignore that. And so now here's my notebook. And you can see now that here's my navigation pane with all my different sections. And on the right, I can see all the tabs in those sections, okay? So before we had a pane here and then a smaller pane with the pages here. So it's just set up slightly different, okay? So here's your welcome page. You also can view your collaboration space here. I can go up a level on that arrow. Content library, these are the different sections. If I want to go back to see all those tabs again, I hit the arrow again. If I want to make this thing go away, I can hit this pin and it's going to unpin it from that side of the notebook. That gives me a better page view. If you like it to stay there, which I prefer, just hit this drop down arrow right here under the title of the notebook and just hit that little pin and it's going to pin it to the left side. Now if it's taking up too much space and you just want to squeeze it down a little bit, you can do that too. And you'll also notice that any notebook that you have access to that you've synced to your desktop version will show up here. So for your 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade teachers that are going to be using OneNote in class, all of your other class notebooks will show up in this list too. So it's all kind of housed in the same spot, which makes it really convenient. And you'll just navigate these pages the exact same way that you would if you were working in the online version. Now, the only other thing that I would tell you is if you're having an issue and you know that you put something in the cloud version and it's not coming down, or maybe when you work in your OneNotes in your classroom later on, if there's an issue with the notebook, go to the name of the notebook and right-click on it, and you want to sync this notebook now, okay? And that's just kind of telling it, do it now, because there maybe is an issue. And so it's going to force that to sync now instead of whenever it gets good and ready. And then you can see this little sync button right here. It just went away, but there's a little green sync button. And once it's gone, you know your notebook is synced. Lastly, if you have any questions on how to do any of this, feel free to see me, but I just want to show you really quick. I know I mentioned before, but you do have access to some helpful tips on my website, and I'm just going to open that web page again. It's iteachtechresources.weebly.com, and if you go to resources and then OneNote, okay, you'll see a screen printout of some quick tips for OneNote that I've developed for you. So it just really kind of runs through the gamut of the things that you would experience when you're trying to do a class notebook for yourself as a teacher, and also how to kind of navigate your staff notebook that Ms. McGee has created for you. And lastly, if you ever have any questions, feel free to send me an email and I will get right back to you. We can set up an appointment and I can come meet with you in your classroom and we can work through it together. Hope this helps. Have a good day.